Once again, the closing arguments will be given, and after that, the most important part of this debate. You, us, and the millions, perhaps billions of people watching on the internet will have their questions answered. So, those of you present here, we will try to take some questions from you. We have set aside 30 minutes for that. How this 2-hour debate will conclude. There are 2 or 3 basic things we must keep in mind. We must not indulge in any kind of sloganeering. This is not a noisy uproar, because the whole world is watching. So we need to maintain a certain decorum. We need to set an example for people, that educated individuals, even while holding agreements and disagreements, can express themselves while respecting agreement and disagreement. Here with me are professors from JNU, Purushottam Agrawalji, who taught us in class that courage in agreement and wisdom in disagreement, and the opposite of that, are both very important.
Second, this is not a debate about any one religion. This should be clear to everyone. This is not a debate to prove one religion great or another inferior. So if anyone is watching or has come here with that expectation, I want to assure you that you will only be disappointed. In this debate, both these gentlemen, who appear very serious right now, are good people. They met yesterday evening over tea, there was a lot of laughter between them, and they even took a photo while hugging. This is proof that compared to the noise on the internet, these two individuals have very calmly agreed to debate. What happens on Twitter stays on Twitter. Elon Musk now calls it X. And now, to begin this debate, although these scholars need no introduction, but it's possible someone might. In journalism, we are taught never assume. Science says the same. Mufti Shamail Nadwi Sahab is an Islamic scholar and educationist, founder of the Wayan Foundation in Kolkata. He graduated from the prestigious Darul Uloom Nadwatul Ulama in Lucknow. He is active in teaching and intellectual work on social media and public platforms, and is currently pursuing a PhD from the International Islamic University, Malaysia. The good thing is that along with studies, he also makes travel blogs. We saw the one in front of the Petronas Towers. With us is Javed Akhtar Sahab. Javed Akhtar Sahab is a poet, lyricist, writes prose, has written dialogues and songs for films. He is also vocal about scientific thinking in his declared atheism and speaks of rationality.
Ladies and gentlemen, does God exist? Everyone is trying to find the answer to this question in their own way. Some call it the search for the God particle, some the goddamn particle, some the Higgs boson. Some try to answer by asking how mass came into existence. What happened before creation, before time? Others say, all these searches are happening in a brain. How did that evolve in the order of nature? I hope today we succeed in finding some answers to these fundamental questions. First, I invite to the stage Mufti Shamail Nadwi Sahab. Please come, sir. One request. When you start speaking, everyone please put your phones on silent or light mode. Just check once. Sometimes it rings accidentally. All praise is for that creator who created this universe with a purpose. Respected Janab Javed Akhtar Sahab, Mr. Saurabh Dwivedi, and respected audience, thank you all for being here today. In today's debate, since we are going to discuss the topic, does God exist? This is a topic where different standards can be used to reach a decision. Therefore, at the beginning of the debate, it is important that we clarify which standard will be correct and which will be incorrect for today's topic. The first standard, which I believe our respected Janab Javed Akhtar Sahab will quickly jump toward, is science. However, in reality, science cannot be a standard to directly prove or deny the existence of God. And why? I'm not saying this, experts in science are saying it. The National Academy of Sciences says, science doesn't have the processes to prove or deny the existence of God. Why? Because science deals with empirical evidence, and empirical evidence relates to our natural and physical world, whereas God is a non-physical and supernatural reality. Therefore, you cannot check a non-physical reality with a tool whose job is to investigate physical reality. Hence, in today's debate, scientific evidence will not be accepted to prove or deny God's existence. The second possible standard is revelation, proving through revelation whether God exists or not. But this standard is also irrelevant today. Why? Because revelation, in my view, is a valid source of knowledge. but for our Javed Akhtar Sahab, it is not a valid source of knowledge. Therefore, in today's debate, I will not present even a single evidence from any religious scripture, so that it is not unacceptable to Javed Akhtar Sahab.
The third possible standard is observation. Someone saying, "Show me God." If he exists, show him, or give empirical evidence of God's existence. This is in reality using the wrong tool. It's like Javed Saab demanding for me, Mufti Saab, detect plastic using a metal detector. Since plastic isn't being detected, therefore plastic does not exist. No, you are using the wrong tool. Plastic is not detected with that tool. So demanding empirical evidence for God's existence is a childish demand, and our respected Janab Javed Akhtar Saab has moved far beyond that stage. Now only one standard remains, and that is reason, logic, reasoning, and it is under this standard that God's existence will be proved or denied. But since this is a very important and sensitive topic, the logical argument must also be definitive, not indefinitive, clear, like 2 + 2 = 4, which cannot be logically rejected. For example, if we say, our respected Mr. Saurabh Saab is a human being, and all human beings are conscious beings, therefore the conclusion is that Saurabh Saab is also a conscious being. Is this an indefinitive or definitive argument? It is definitive, like 2 + 2 = 4. It cannot be logically rejected. So if today our Javed Akhtar Saab presents any rational argument or logical evidence that is definitive regarding God's non-existence, I declare that I will certainly accept that evidence and reflect on it. But I also predict that no one can present such a definitive argument. We will present arguments, definitive, logical arguments that the entire atheistic world cannot refute.
Let us now think of an example. A simple scenario. I request the entire audience. Imagine you and I are on an isolated island, one no one has ever visited before. While walking, you suddenly see a pink-colored ball lying there. The first question that comes to your mind, why is this ball here? How did it get here? Why is it pink? It could have been any other color. Why this shape? It could have been another shape. Naturally, you will conclude that someone made this ball with these specific properties and placed it here. Because you know that the existence of this ball is not necessary. It could exist or not exist. And if it had to exist, it could have been in any other form or color. Now keep expanding this ball. Keep expanding it until it becomes the size of the universe. Tell me, does the question change just because the size has increased? Not at all. The question remains, where did this universe come from? How did it come with these specific properties? Why did it come? Who made it? That question remains valid. But if we ask this question to Janab Javed Akhtar Sahab, since his worldview is atheistic, and not just his, but all atheists, if you ask someone with an atheistic worldview, where did this universe come from? Their answer will either be an argument from ignorance or dogmatic. Either they will say, I don't know where it came from, therefore God does not exist. That is argument from ignorance. Or they will say, the universe came into being by itself. That would mean the ball also came into being by itself. But that explanation will not be accepted for the ball, that it came by itself. Yet for the universe, it is accepted. In other words, we can call this dogma.
Second, our Javed Akhtar Sahab will definitely give the example of God of the gaps. That in the past, when lightning struck, people attributed it to one God. When it rained, to another. They had no explanation. That is not our worldview at all. Because knowing the interpretation of natural phenomena's processes, how does that prove God does not exist? I will inshallah talk about this further. You will also see, and I expect, that our respected Janab Javed Akhtar Sahab will definitely give emotional arguments which are a logical fallacy when deciding truth. For example, he will say, if God exists, then why does evil exist? Whereas I say, the existence of evil is proof of God's existence, not against it. Because if God exists, we are all accountable to him. And for accountability, the existence of evil is necessary. Without it, we cannot be accountable. And if we are not accountable, then we will ask Janab Javed Akhtar Sahab, tell us, why is there suffering in this world if God does not exist? And what about the feelings of those who after suffering have a desire for revenge and they leave this world just like that? Will all their pain go to waste?
Now, coming back to the example, if someone asks me who made this ball, or this expanded ball, the universe, I will say, Because this universe and everything in it is contingent. Contingent means something whose existence depends on something else. Clearly, this universe is contingent. And if something is not contingent, I request you to show me which thing in the universe is not contingent. We will also reflect on it. And when contingent things exist, according to philosophical terminology, we reach that entity which is called a necessary being, one whose non-existence is impossible. Because if it did not exist, nothing would come into existence, and all these deeply contingent things depend on it. Now, if you ask, then who created that entity? What is its cause? And what is the cause of that? And it goes on endlessly. This is called infinite regress of causes, which is a logical fallacy. Conceptually, infinity is possible. For example, numbers. 1, 2, 3, there are infinite numbers. I am not talking conceptually. Show me practically, in reality, that an infinite regress of causes is possible. If it is possible, we will accept it. Give an example. If it is not possible, then only one option remains, a necessary being, an independent being, because if it were dependent, it would not be necessary. An eternal being, if it had a beginning, it would itself be contingent. A powerful being, because power is needed to actualize the contingent. An intelligent and knowledgeable being, because this universe is running precisely under specific forms and specific laws of nature. Thank you. Thank you, Mufti Saab. After these arguments, I request Javed Akhtar Saab. Would you like to speak sitting down? Javed Akhtar.
Yes. First, I want to give Mufti Sahab some good news. My knowledge of science is very limited, so don't worry about that. But I do have some common sense. Look, the concept of God is not a new concept. It has existed for centuries. Some religions are 3,000, 4,000 years old, but humans as Homo sapiens have existed for maybe 10, 12,000 years, and there have always been some religions. These were not religions of ignorant people. These were religions of a Greek society that produced great philosophers. These were religions of Egyptians who built the pyramids. These were religions of Romans who had great architecture and the Senate, the first foundation of democracy, limited but democracy. They did all that. So their Jupiter, Ra, Zeus, they had as much faith in them as any religious person today has in their god. Before Christianity came to Europe, there was a Germanic religion with a god who had a wife, 2 sons, and a daughter. When Christianity came to Germany and Europe, that god, his wife, and the entire family disappeared. If we look at history, gods have mostly been funny. They haven't always existed. And the people who believed in them, you cannot say they were ignorant. They didn't know anything. No, they were highly capable people of their time and achieved great things. There were philosophers, scientists, but where did their religion go? Where did their gods go? The gods that people believe in today, how do you know what will happen after some years? In Europe, we see churches are empty. Things change over time. As far as religions are concerned, every religion demands one thing from you: faith. What is the difference between faith and belief?
It would be very foolish for someone to say, if God exists, show him to me. That would be ignorant. I have never seen the North Pole, but I believe it exists. Why? Because if this world is round, it must have a top. Some people have been there. Common sense says so. There is evidence, witnesses, reason. So this is not my faith. Every religion demands faith from you. Faith means no witness, no evidence, no reason, no logic, no proof, but accept one thing. That is faith. Otherwise, it would be belief. If there were any evidence or witnesses, you would call it belief, like my belief that the North Pole exists, not faith. Faith negates all these conditions. So what is stupidity? If I accept something that has no logic, no reason, no proof, no witness, no evidence, and I still accept it, that is stupidity. If tomorrow I believe that Elon Musk is my brother, I would be extremely happy and get a lot of comfort. But if someone asks, why do you believe that? He's American, you're Indian, different race, you've never met him. I say, this is my faith. Don't question faith. Faith means exactly that. You cannot prove it. If you could prove it, there would be no need for faith. You would just discuss it. Ultimately, every religion in the world rests on faith, and faith means a conviction that has no evidence, no witness, no reason. Now you say, who made this universe? The amazing thing is, you said you went to an island and saw a ball. You were surprised by the ball. You didn't ask who made the island.
You were only surprised by the ball. Islands just exist. Similarly, this island, universe, stars, galaxies, all are islands. They just are. We take them for granted. We don't ask who made them. You didn't even ask about the island. How was I born? Was I planned to be born, or was I a lucky sperm that stuck to one egg? My birth is random. And justice, which you call justice, nature has nothing to do with justice. You say one day justice will be done. Justice is a human concept. There is no justice in nature. If a lion eats a deer, it doesn't get punished. If a storm uproots green trees, storms don't go to jail. There is no justice in nature. That's why we say nature doesn't need justice. Nature is one whole. If I say, look, the food I ate went to my eyes instead, that's just the system. It runs like that. Nature exists without justice. Justice is a human concept. So when someone says, I will give you justice, that is a product of the human mind. It is not natural, not heavenly. The concept of justice in nature, brother, you made it up. Now think, left-hand drive. All truth, all goodness, all decency is left-hand drive. Otherwise, you'll either crash, kill someone, or cause a traffic jam. Lies, dishonesty, bribery, all that is driving on the wrong side. There are no rules against it. We made left-hand drive. The concept of justice is ours. It has nothing to do with nature. Does a lion go to jail for eating a deer? Nothing. So the fact that religions promise you justice after death shows that it is man-made. This concept doesn't come from anywhere else. Some people say nature itself is God, but there is no justice in nature anywhere, yet you promise justice after death. If I get it, I'll be very happy, but I cannot believe it because I cannot produce faith. The very fact that religions demand faith means they have no justification. It was good. If religion is in moderation, any religion, it probably creates some good qualities in you. There are benefits. Alcohol is used in most medicines. A survey in America showed longevity. One group never drank. Another drank 1 bottle. The longest lives were those who drank measured amounts with food. But we consider alcohol bad. I also consider it bad. Why? That's not how it works. Some things become habits that grow. A man drinks milk. You meet him after 10 years, he still drinks 1 glass. You don't see milkaholics. There are alcoholics. Religion has the same tendency. It grows, like cancer, like alcohol.
Some people use it correctly. I am sure our Mufti Sahab is one of them. I was very happy to meet him. But how many such people are there? Look at the destruction in the world today. How much of it is caused by people who say religion doesn't say this, yet when they drink religion, they behave like this. If it's just a little, perhaps it's very good, it's good, but alcohol doesn't stay at a little. It has a tendency. First a little, if there are 2-3 cancer cells in the body, the person will remain healthy, but those 2-3 cells don't stay that way. They multiply. Javed Sahab, your time is up. Time's up. That's it. The talk is over. Well, I didn't have anything more to say anyway. Yes, first I'm inviting Mufti Sahab for the rebuttal round. Your rebuttal round 1. You have 7 minutes. Thank you very much, Javed Sahab. Listening to you made us feel very good. Feel. Do you understand? We enjoyed. Okay, now a little logically. Actually, yesterday we had requested both Mufti Sahab and Javed Sahab to speak in common Hindi that everyone understands, and wherever difficult words are used, explain them along the way. Thank you.
First, our respected Javed Sahab referred to gods being mortal. How many religions came and went? Some worshipped Jupiter as God, some others. I say, whoever took a contingent thing as God was wrong. That is not God at all. We are sitting here to prove a necessary being, that eternal cause which is both eternal, a body, and from eternity, a jali. We are not proving anyone else. Second, he said faith and belief. This is a definition of faith that he has presented for the first time. Or, forgive me, not the first time. Richard Dawkins presented it first. I know where this source comes from. Epistemologically, you cannot differentiate faith and belief like this, sir. Faith can be correct or incorrect. Belief can be correct or incorrect. What is backed by logic, reason, and evidence, that faith will be correct. And the faith you are talking about, which is illogical and has nothing behind it, we are on the same page. We do not accept that faith. We do not accept a faith that has no logic or evidence behind it. We are proponents of a faith that has logic and evidence. So belief can be correct or incorrect. Faith can also be correct or incorrect.
So today, we are not discussing the difference between faith and belief. Today, whether you accept faith or belief, today we will talk about what is truth, whether true belief is correct or true faith is correct, and what is false faith and false belief. That is what we are discussing. Second, he asked, what is stupidity then? If faith/religion is not stupidity, then what is? Because religions demand faith. So what is stupidity? I say stupidity is atheism. The reason is, you are walking on a road, enter a garden, and see written there, with flowers I love Javed Akhtar. And I really do. I love you, sir. So when you reach there, tell me, will you say, wow, what natural selection? What natural selection this is? No, this is precisely designed. There is a designer behind it. Therefore, if someone does not accept such a common sense thing, that the universe running so precisely, if we say it came by itself, I think there is no greater stupidity than this. This is irrational. Then Arsar said, you focused on the ball, not on the island. Sir, I gave the example of the ball precisely to explain who made the island. Both the ball and the island are contingent. Both demand a necessary being.
Further, he said there is no justice in nature. We decide what morality is, what justice is. We decide like in driving, traffic rules. No God said this. This is called false equivalence. This is a logical fallacy. The example you took of driving and traffic, this is subjective morality. You cannot impose subjective morality on objective morality. Justice is objective morality. If you say there's no justice in nature, so the absence of justice is natural, then let nature remain natural. Why are we striving so hard in the world to bring justice? This is illogical, irrational. Therefore, many things are objectively evil or good, and many things are subjectively so. What is subjectively moral or immoral, we decide through social consensus or personal preference. But objective morality, which includes justice, and he repeated it many times, is objective, not subjective. If you say it is subjective, then my question to you is, if through social consensus and justice is declared right, will you justify injustice? Second thing he said, take 2 packs of alcohol. It won't stay there, it will increase. The same as with religion. If you take 2 packs, it will increase. So this is an example you can fit anywhere. If you fit it on atheism, when you take 2 packs of atheism, it will grow into North Korea. Thank you.
For the first round rebuttal, I am inviting Javed Sahab. You have 7 minutes. Please reset the timer. I am happy that Mufti Sahab has also accepted that there is no justice in nature, so anything not made by humans has no justice in it. One thing I request you, please find out. Those beautiful flowers you see in gardens, none of them are natural. All these flowers have been crossbred. The flowers in jungles are very ordinary. Humans made these flowers by crossing different flowers, developing them, crossing again. Natural flowers are not these. You won't find rose flowers in any jungle wilderness. All these are made by humans. Humans have done many things. Otherwise, you did not answer one of my points, which I complain about. What is faith? And why do you demand faith from me? You are logical. You have all the reasons, all the proofs. So why do you demand faith? That brothers surrender and don't ask questions. No religion allows asking all questions and forbids, don't ask too many questions or you will go astray. Why do you stop? The reality is, what is human history? Human history is that there have been 2 kinds of people in the world. One who worshipped their desires. Second, those who fought their ignorance or desires and tried to find out what it is.
What you are saying today. You are surprised. Brother, how was this universe made? People were surprised when the sun sets. How does it rise from the other side? And you are ready to accept always 1 step ahead. But don't go 1 step back, brother. You go near it and say,
Don't ask where this power came from. This power has always been forever. So you will accept for the universe. What is the problem going one step further or stopping? Whether it was always there or not, we don't know. And saying we don't know. The amazing thing is, all religions of the world know everything. How is this world made? How will it end? What happens after death? They have all knowledge. They didn't know dinosaurs existed before. No one knew. There is no mention of dinosaurs in any religious book of the world. But everything else, how to make universe in 4 easy lessons, and everything else is known. Whoever knows everything is suspicious. We should have this humility that we say we don't know many things, but we don't worship our ignorance. We don't worship our desires. We try to find out. The world you are sitting in, sir, this hall, this electricity, this mic, the airplane you came in, the car you came here in, all these were made by people who asked questions. This world in which you are comfortably living today was made by those who asked questions. And at every stage, these questions were called abhorrent, wrong. Read history. There is a very interesting book by Batten in which he details since when religion has been against science. And the extreme is they were against steam engines too, and the Vatican issued fatwas against them. So always, now as soon as the right wing comes to power in America, what do they call it, stem cell research stops. Republicans don't allow it.
Brother, what fear do you have? Once upon a time, all religious people were very angry. This human is trying to make humans. If he makes one, let him. What problem do you have? What is this fear? And all this you are saying today is impossible. How did this happen? A story comes to mind. When I was in 6th class, I was very weak in mathematics, so a teacher was appointed. He taught me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't forget that day, Mufti Sahab. The day he explained what 1/2 is and what 3/4 is. I felt my head would split in two. This man is saying walk through the wall. Today I laugh at it. So the things today that are beyond your mind and you are surprised seeing them, there will come a time when they will seem ordinary. And it has happened. This is your human history. Don't make all decisions so quickly. Have a little humility. Brother, what harm is there in saying we don't know this? How vast is this universe? Since when has it been, and how long will it remain? We don't know. You have decided when it was made. According to you, some 14 billion years. Before that, for thousands of crows of billions of years, what was God doing? Sitting silently? Yawning? Then an idea came? Friend, let's do something. Time will pass well. Make a universe. Think, he is eternal, right? But the universe is not eternal. It was made. And before that, what was his work? What kind of talk is this? This is very easy. What we are slowly finding out today, someone told you 2,000 or 2,500 years ago, and you believed. And since then, you believe what was said 2,500 years ago. Everything has changed. Things are being solved. Science doesn't claim at all, or any philosopher claims, that we know everything. Rather, it says, the more we know, the more we realize how little we know. So let's fight our ignorance. Worship it. Thank you. Thank you so much.